Tim Burton's long-awaited sequel to the classic Beetlejuice is finally here. So today, let's see if Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. 3 generations of the Deetz family return home to Winter River after an unexpected family tragedy. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life soon gets turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter discovers a mysterious portal to the afterlife. I'm very much a fan of the original Beetlejuice movie and Tim Burton as a director, so I was very curious to see what he could do with this long-awaited sequel and having Michael Keaton return as Beetlejuice. And I'm very sad to say that I was quite disappointed with the movie. I had my expectations really high as I watched it a lot of times over the summer, but this film lacks the imagination and the chaotic energy that that first film had. There are still good moments in here. It's not a terrible film by any means, but when you hype this film up for many, many years, there's certain expectations when it comes to this movie. I've heard a lot of great things about this film though from the film community, and a lot of people really do like this film, and I'm really happy for that. But it's a film that just didn't deliver what I wanted it to. The film has a very convoluted, messy story as you have a lot of subplots going on. Lydia's not sure how to be a mother to her teenage daughter played by Jenna Ortega, and we have a storyline involving Lydia's father that recently had passed. Catherine O'Hara is processing all of that. Then you got Beetlejuice, and he is being hunted down by his ex-wife. There's a lot going on within this film, and despite having so many subplots within here and a lot of characters returning to form, the film has such a slow pace to it. I wanted things to pick up earlier within the film. If you look at that original movie, Beetlejuice didn't appear until like the first 45 minutes of the movie, but they were able to supplement everything prior with interesting characters and a really fun story. That's lacking within this movie. So when you get all the beginning parts of their storylines and a lot more Beetlejuice early on, I expected the pacing to move a little bit quicker and get to the meat of the story a lot faster. But the pacing is so terribly slow. This is one of the few films I have recently seen that I just could not wait for it to be over. The characters feel like they're not amounting to much really early on in the film, and they are pretty pointless when it comes to developing their storyline. Sometimes characters are just standing around waiting for something to happen to them rather than just actually developing its story. And the characters return to form like Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara, they're able to jump back into these roles with ease. I like the characters within here. Michael Keaton is able to bring that wacky side to Beetlejuice to this movie as he has aged many, many years since then. I love that he was able to tap back into that character while having a different side to him, since we do explore him and his ex-wife and that fear that he has surrounding her. Lydia as an adult, you still see some of the interest she had since a teenager and watching it translate to now as an adult. And Catherine O'Hara, still a character that's all about the art and herself. That was a nice exploration of that character in a current time. The film feels less like a Tim Burton movie, and at times feels like any kind of director really could have took this movie on. There are some moments where it feels like a Tim Burton movie, but I think of Tim Burton, I think some of his classic films like Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhand, Batman, all that style, that kind of gothic look to it, feels very absent within this movie. Some costumes and makeup and effects give it that Tim Burton feel to it, but it's really absent within this film. I expected some more odd moments within here, some more distinct style to it. The film does have a nice message and approach to death and grief, and how Lydia and her stepmother and Lydia's daughter are all processing this. It's very different from each other. And Jenna Ortega's character, her daughter, views life as more challenging than death, and seeing how they can kind of navigate all of that. It does lead to some interesting conversations, some more hard topics for discussion, and allowing that to kind of push its way throughout this movie. So that was one of the highlights of the film for me, is that discussion and how it kind of powers the movie. And looking at Monica Bellucci's character and what she represents and all that death surrounding it, there's more focus on Beetlejuice and his world, and that feels like a step in the right direction, since we didn't have the most amount of time for Beetlejuice in that original film. So I did appreciate that there was more of that focus for him and allowing that character to feel more developed this time around. But since I loved that original film and I had really high expectations, this film just did not work for me. And I know there are a lot of people who really did like this movie. I could see why people really fell for this movie and really did appreciate it. But for me, it just did not work on so many different levels, from the convoluted, messy story to the characters feel like they didn't have the most chance to develop, to that lack of Tim Burton style to it, to the overall terribly slow pacing to the film. I wanted so much more from this, but early on within this film, I could tell that it just wasn't going to be that original film or even come close to it. The performances are good. I really like Jenna Ortega in here and how she's grappling with her mother's ability to see the dead and how it connects to her past with her father. I think there was a nice approach to that, and how she doesn't want to be like her mother, and she really kind of resents all of that. There are some nice moments for that character. So Beetlejuice, I would call it a disappointment for me. But I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this movie. It had nice costume designs and the makeup looked good, and I really liked Michael Keaton in here and how he was able to just kind of tap back into that character and bring that fun energy to this movie. But I really haven't liked much of the most recent Tim Burton films like Dumbo and Miss Peregrine. Those are films I just kind of view as some of the worst of his career. But I still really like the director of Tim Burton. I'm really excited to do a ranking video this weekend for those films. So before I give you my score for Beetlejuice, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. I'm gonna go ahead and give Beetlejuice a C. Thank you guys for checking out my review for Beetlejuice. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.